The Baltimore Ravens lose again in the playoffs without making it to the Super Bowl. Paige Dimakos, their matchup with the Buffalo Bills. Who's to blame in that matchup, them losing?
Bunch of people to blame in this one. And I think that's where I hope that the national narrative does not become this is a Lamar Jackson loss. Because that's what we tend to gravitate towards. And
the quarterbacks.
The quarterbacks, and especially Lamar. And I get it. Lamar deserves his share of the blame. The turnovers are unacceptable. You can't fumble the ball. You can't have the interception. But the Mark Andrews fumble and not catching the ball.
Derrick Henry dropping the pass.
It's just uncharacteristic of them, right?
They looked unprepared.
Wasn't ready. And I get that the weather played a factor, for sure.
100%.
But that impacted both teams.
But I also don't give them that notion because they're a cold weather team.
Yeah,
they play outside in the Northeast.
100%. 100%. And I think the bigger thing here is this was a failure across the board, and I wasn't expecting that, Keith.
Yeah.
I really wasn't. I expected this Ravens team to show up and play at that level, and I don't know if that's on Harbaugh. I don't know if that's partially on – I think it's partially on everybody. I really do. And I think now is the time to really find the voice in that room. Who is the vocal leader? Because sometimes it feels like Lamar maybe needs somebody to help him.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot, actually. And the reason why is we notice, right, when it comes down to competition, and especially in big-time moments, I think he's the leader during the regular season.
100%.
I think in the playoffs, he's still a little bit hesitant to be that guy.
He's shy.
Because he's trying to work out his own demons, right? He's trying to figure this thing out for himself. How can I hold people accountable
100%.
when I don't know what I'm going to do on the football field? In the regular season, he's their leader.
Yeah.
They need a postseason guy they can turn towards. Another situation where I turn to and I say that you said is all-encompassing, right? Talk about Mark Andrews. You talk about Derrick Henry dropping the pass. You talk about Lamar Jackson fumbling the football. Play calling. Once again, you go into the game with the identity, we are the Baltimore Ravens. Nobody pays attention to this. Derrick Henry almost ran for 2,000 yards this season.
Yeah,
so your identity has been running the football, and you don't do it consistently. It doesn't matter if you get stopped on first down and it's 1st and 10. Who the hell are we? We the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to run it again with King Henry. You going to stop us? We're going to run the football again. Yeah. Even if we have to punt, you know what we doing? We setting the mentality, right? That we going to punch y'all in your goddamn face. It don't matter what's going to happen. And I think that they get away because this is the second time. Last year, Todd Monken against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs went up early, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like 10-0 to 10-3. I think that he thought that this was about to turn into a shootout. The Chiefs scored 10 points, I believe, in the first quarter, and then finished the game with like 19 points.
Yeah,
so
very low
he got
scoring.
sped up in his mental.
Yeah.
Y'all had plenty of time just to run the football and
100%.
play y'all style of football.
And I will say, though, he did a better job this time around because they still stayed committed to the run. They still run the football. The problem is what forces you out of your game plan is when you turn the football over like that.
That's true.
And it happened early, and it happened multiple times. The fact that they were in that game to the very last second.
That lets you, and that's why you're disappointed. When we leave that stadium, we hop on the bus, and the bus takes us to the tarmac, and we have to get on this airplane, we all sick.
Because you know you're the better team.
We knew that. It was blatant that we were the better football team.
Yep.
And it came all the way down to the last play of the game with Mark Andrews dropping a wide open pass. And that's not just any player. That's an all-pro tight end, right? That's one of your guys. And that's the thing. When your best guys don't show up with their A game, it's very tough to win. And especially, like you said, when you turn the football over.
I really think that, I as we discussed it, I really think they got to bring somebody in because Derrick Henry, as great as Derrick is, I think he's hesitant or gun-shy to be the vocal leader when Lamar's there. You got to have the Ray Lewis on the defensive side of the football.
Right.
You do. Because I think
I'm not mad at that.
That's the guy who's got to, and listen, I think you may have that guy. He just needs to step into that role. That's Roquan Smith.
I was just about to ask you.
You are that dude.
Yeah.
He is that dude. He plays that role. He's that kind of guy. He's a nasty football player like Ray Lewis was. He can do that.
Yeah, and the Ravens are fun because they've had this already.
I know.
A unique situation to where their face of their franchise wasn't a quarterback, right? Their face of the franchise was Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. So with some of these teams, and we talk about this culturally, how they win Super Bowls, for a lot of these teams, It's repeat. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers when they won Super Bowls in the 70s, it was with Terry Bradshaw, a couple wide receivers, Franco Harris. You look at it when they won in the early 2000s, it was Ben Roethlisberger, wide receivers, Jerome Bettis, right? It's repeat the same formula again and again, and y'all have the blueprint. I'm with you. I actually really like that. I want to ask this, though, because that's what's going to be the narrative tomorrow morning, is can Lamar win it all?
Yes, he can. I believe he can. And I know that I totally understand why people would be hopping out the bandwagon now. But this loss was different than the other losses.
Yeah, he actually showed up. And he messed up, but he didn't go in the tank.
Correct. He came out and they fought back. They fought till the very last minute, to the point at which they were tying the game if Mark Andrews doesn't drop the 2-point conversion, right? That last drive matters for Lamar. On the road, in Buffalo, down 8, drives, gets them down there without Zay Flowers, by the way. That drive is defining to me. That drive shows me that he can do it, but you got to have somebody in his ear to remove that 10 to 15% up at the front so he doesn't overdo it at the beginning again.
Right.
That's you, Quan. That's you, Roquan. I know this is a guy I was so sad to lose in Chicago because he is a culture guy. And I think Lamar would be receptive to it too.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think he wants
somebody else to step up.
Yeah, I think he wants it, and not step up just from a play wise, but like another vocal person, right?
Be
like,
a face.
A simple, hey, big dog, we good. Hey, Wall State. You know what I'm saying? Like when Mark Andrews fumbles the ball, go dap the guys up on the side. Hey, we good. Come on, we going to wall. We all right. Let's go. Let's roll. He because I'm trying to pick myself up, right? Like
and Lamar
he's a guy,
is so hard on himself.
That's what I'm about to say. You know, and we'll get to this later. He needs a book, right? Yeah. And you're talking about a book. Lamar needs a book. That's who needs a book at the end of the day. And that's just being completely honest, because you're 100%. Watching him actually go through the actions of figuring myself out. Like, even there was moments in the sideline, he looks like he's in his head to where he's like,
he is.
Like, man, it's cold out here. What's going on? Am I playing well?
He needs
what
a buddy.
I need to do? Yeah.
We need the buddy system. You guys remember the buddy system when you were kids? Roquan Smith, I know you can't be his buddy throughout this whole time because you're playing opposite sides, but we need to figure out who Lamar's buddy is. The guy who sits with him, and maybe that guy was Zay. It kind of felt like he was becoming that dude with him.
Yeah.
They play off of each other. They have like Zay is an infectious. Probably one of my all-time favorite interviews I ever did with Panini was with Zay Flowers. He is an infectious personality, and they really missed him. He was 40% of their total target share this year.
That's huge.
That's a huge underrated aspect. Their best offensive weapon besides Derrick Henry, like he was gone. It's a huge deal that he was missing from this game.
That's why I thought the Buffalo Bills were going to win. As much as I wanted the Baltimore Ravens to win, I thought the Buffalo. That's why I thought, because I'm like that's a huge
and
injury.
They played on the road too. Yeah. That's a big part of this. Buffalo is a massive advantage. Yep. A massive advantage. The lake effect, snow, all that. Like Josh Allen's used to playing in that. He knows that, and I get it. It's cold weather, but it's different. Buffalo is a literally like a magical, weird place. And it has its own unique set of characteristics that it comes with. And for Lamar, I really hope that mentally he's able to handle what I know is about to come his way, because I know the media is going to be stupid. I know they're all going to blame him, when the reality is there's a lot of blame to go around.
There's a lot of blame.
Yeah.
Bills Mafia, Buffalo. They won.
They did.
You know what they won? They won the opportunity to travel to Chiefs Kingdom, and they have to travel to Arrowhead and play Patrick Mahomes. How confident should the Buffalo Bills be rolling into Arrowhead?
Man, I wish I had a different answer. But it's hard for me because I look at this roster, and this is the fourth time since 2020 that these teams will face off in the AFC Championship game, and in Arrowhead. And this is the least talented version of the roster that I think they've had going in there.
Yeah.
And they're young, and they're not as experienced. And I don't know that that's going to get it done. Now, on the flip side of that, I'll give you some hope, Bills fans. You're young, and sometimes young, stupid, and hungry works in your favor.
You don't know what you don't know.
See the Commanders right now. Literally, you don't. You don't. And Josh Allen is not young, stupid, and hungry. He's veteran. He's grizzled. And just so we're clear, that man has done everything to put his team in a position to win. And then Mahomes has beat the defense. 13 seconds, right? Like, Josh Allen can beat. He does everything he needs to do. I think this is going to come down to coaching. And Sean McDermott, you better get ready. Your chops, this is your moment. Like, you want to be a big boy? Show up and be a big boy.
You know what this is, right? These are the games where Andy Reid pulls out all the different gadget plays, the trick plays.
That we haven't played all year.
The personnel groupings that are way different.
Yep.
And this ends up being somebody that you don't even expect to score 2 touchdowns, scores 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And this is why the Kansas City Chiefs, it's not just the winning the Super Bowls, why they remind me so much of the Patriots. It's the actual roster construction because everybody pays attention to the offensive side of the football, but the Kansas City Chiefs have a good defense.
Did last year too.
They have a really good defense that nobody talks about to where it puts Kansas City, the same with the New England Patriots, to where they don't have to score 30 to win. We talk about Patrick Mahomes because he touches the ball 40, 50 times a game, but sometimes he only has to score 21 points.
Mahomes had a horrible game against the Texans.
Yes, it was not a good game.
He did not. This was not a Pat Mahomes. He had a couple special moments that I know everybody's going to turn into a highlight package, but he was running for his life. Yeah. He was pitter-pattering. He was getting sacked. Will Anderson had an all-time game. Yeah. I mean, they made his night uncomfortable. But what's the commonality between the Patriots and the Chiefs? To me, is the biggest thing is how they win. Mm-hmm. They find ways to win. It's grimy. It's ugly. It's not always the same. And it doesn't matter because that's championship DNA. They have it.
I like how you hit on that because we just talked about the Baltimore Ravens finding a way to lose. And I think that's a common theme in the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. Just simply finding a way to lose. Yep. And the ones that move on, they don't have all the turnovers, right? And I want to do this. I want to get into this conversation because it's a rather explosive. Probably the biggest disappointment the entire NFL season, especially the playoffs.
Yeah,
the Detroit Lions, first time in their team history being a 1 seed, most wins ever in their franchise history, at home, first game, you had a bye, you're favorites to win a Super Bowl, and you go down against a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Where do the Detroit Lions go from here?
The Detroit Lions need to learn how to not be the underdog anymore, Keith. Mm-hmm. This is something you said to me, and it is super correct. When you're the underdog all the time, you play a certain type of football.
Yep.
And when you become the favorite, you said the hunted versus the hunter.
Yep.
Right?
That's what I said.
And that is the most true of this whole identity, the grit, right? All of who they are as a football team. That works. But you got to figure out now how to take the next step forward from being the team that needs to fight from its back to being the team that's the heavyweight champ.
And that, you know what that is? That's having resolve in moments, right? And like you said, that's the hunter and hunting. I don't need to do trick plays to beat you because I'm better than you. Them doing a wide receiver screen with Jameson Williams when you had Jared Goff, who has proven, and I'll say this, he's a good NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
He's been in big-time moments already, right? You have Jahmyr Gibbs in a running game. I think Jahmyr, at some point during the game, he was averaging 9 yards a carry. Yeah. You have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. But the other side of that is that you know that your defense is struggling. Mm-hmm. Slow it down. Do not turn this into a track race. That's what Washington wants. They want to turn this into a track race. Jayden Daniels get on the football field as much as he can. You do the part of you saying, you know what? We can win in more ways than one. Yeah. Y'all only can win one way. We're going to run the football, punch you guys in the mouth, right? Slow this thing down. And because you know what it does? And this is the part I'm going to get into.
You're out physical. Like, get fit. Like, come on.
Yeah, like, and because the Washington team, great story, but I don't think it's a great football team when you talk about roster player by player, right? But I'm going to talk about this because this is what people don't understand playing complementary football. Yeah. And that's what the Detroit Lions didn't do yesterday. So when you have a defense that's struggling, right, those moments on the sideline, they are so pivotal because what it is the opportunity for review, but research. So when I get on the sideline, I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm the linebacker coach, I'm the DB coach. I'm looking at data that's coming in, all of these different pictures on the tablet, and I'm able to sit there and look at things, right? And if I only have 2 minutes, I might not have enough time to pick up on the key.
Yeah.
But if you give me 10, 15 minutes, it's basically like I sit down and I'm in the film room. I can coach my linebackers up. They can tell me what they're seeing. We can make different adjustments. We see different things.
Big
and that's
difference.
the part where you slow it down and you play complementary football. They're like, look, we don't have the horses.
Yeah.
But we have horses a different way. And I think that was the underdog thing that you talked about, was because they're so used to just doing wild stuff and being off the cuff. No, play this thing steady. Y'all are a good football team.
Yeah.
Believe it.
They kind of need to re-identify their identity as a football team. They kind of do. They really do, because
is that believing they're good? Is that what you're talking about?
you gotta actually believe you belong now.
Yeah.
That's
act
what
like
it
you've
is.
been there. Act like
you
you've
act
been
like you guys are no longer the team that's on the outs.
Mm-hmm.
You're
y'all
the,
ain't.
You're the team that was the number 1 seed that knocked the Minnesota Vikings on their ass. Where was that team?
Yeah.
Where was that team? That was the team I expected to show up.
Me too.
That's why it's so frustrating, because you watch them show up in a moment where it was like, nah, it's you versus me for the division. It's all on the line. Let's go. And they punched them in the mouth. Yeah. And I don't know where that football team went. It's like they put all the juice into that and they had a letdown week. And I think part of this is they were kind of on a hamster wheel. And they kept going, and they kept tunnel visioning themselves. Didn't matter how many defensive players they lost. They kept just saying, we're going to keep going, keep going, keep going. And I almost think the bye week hurt them, because you had time to kind of go and relax and realize, oh, shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got ourselves. It's almost like they had time to kind of actually fall into what we all thought was going to happen. Right. And unfortunately, the reality is that was probably what should have happened way earlier, but they just kept playing and kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and they got to that point. And I think it's just really hard to win without defense in the playoffs. It really is, and they had no answer for Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, they didn't. And you said Jayden Daniels. That's why I want to go next, because we have to give him credit, right? For making plays and winning games. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs, let alone be in the NFC Championship.
No, it's just special.
It's special. Is Jayden Daniels the best rookie quarterback we've ever seen?
I think so. At this point, I think to win 2 playoff games on the road, to do what he's doing, it's in a vacuum, right? It's a rookie season. I'm much more comfortable saying this is the best rookie season I've ever seen by far. I don't know. Like, you think about what Peyton Manning did in his first year, right? And you think about, like, the fact that Patrick Mahomes was sitting. Like, a lot of the superstar quarterbacks you think about didn't play. This is you talk about a franchise that has been really bad for a long time, but has an iconic brand that this is a fan base that was desperate for this. And when we talk about owners changing, it's funny.
This is what we talk about.
It's funny how the whole building and culture changed now. Because I don't think if Dan Snyder is the guy and they draft at the exact same situation, it's the whole building. It's how it feels. It's everything that goes into winning culture and good culture. And they had a really toxic one for a very long time. And man, Jayden Daniels, he plays with a joy that I don't think, like, every time we watch him, I look at him and I'm like, is he just, like, smiling? Mm-hmm. Like, he's just having a damn good time. He's having a damn good time. And Keith, quite frankly, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't, a lot of the ways they're winning.
No.
But this has to be the best rookie season ever, at least, and feel free to disagree, but he's just been so special. It's hard to say it could be anybody else.
Yeah, when you compile his individual stats and what he's doing individually, when you look at this roster,
it's
when
crazy.
you talk about all the off-the-field transitions, and then you look at the fact that they're winning playoff games, this is without a doubt the best rookie quarterback season. And we thought that we seen something special last year with C.J. Stroud. This surpasses that.
Oh, not even close.
Because C.J. was, you looked at a situation and said that this is an insulated situation. The Commanders, it's not an insulated situation. That is raw, right?
Yeah,
like the
100%.
Commanders are trying to figure that out and what's going on and, like you said, the transition into ownership. So I give Jayden Daniels all the credit in the world for what he's doing and bringing his team to the NFC Championship to face The Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
The NFC East, man. It's a tough time for Jerry Jones right now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, he's hurting. He's hurting. But I'll say this, that the Philadelphia Eagles are doing a very good job of stirring the pot for themselves. They were picked to be one of the best teams in the NFC. They're in the NFC Championship right now. They have to go through the Commanders. They'll probably be heavy favorites. But the question is this. Are the Philadelphia Eagles their own worst enemy?
I think so. When you're doing stuff like reading a book on the sideline, answering questions the way Nick Sirianni was, Nick Sirianni booing, like telling the fans to egging them on, just toxic traits, if we're being honest. They've been messing with they've been playing with fire, Keith. That's what it feels like. They've been playing with fire, and I don't know, it won't make sense, okay? It will not make sense if the Commanders beat that team. But I will not be surprised. I won't.
Yeah,
because the Commanders are playing with a joy and a looseness that when people describe, I've talked to many people who've won championships, and when they describe the zone that they get into, it's always the same.
Yep.
It's playing loose. It's playing free. It's not overthinking things. It's all the things we need to get Lamar Jackson to, right? Playing without reservations. The Eagles got a lot of stuff in their head right now. They got a lot of stuff in their head, and they're creating a lot of it on their own. Yeah. And I don't understand why it's happening, and I think it's honestly, I think it's largely part due to Nick Sirianni. I don't think he's the right guy. And I don't think he's handling this well because he's allowing too much of this to happen.
Yeah, it looks like, to me, honestly, it looks like it's a volatile situation.
It's chaotic.
That the only reason that it's not volatile and it didn't blow up is because they're winning.
Yeah.
Right? But I can be honest with you, that doesn't look like a franchise that from one teammate to the next teammate, offensively, the entire unit, that they all trust each other.
No.
They look like there's things going on. And you mentioned the book, right? And one thing that made me mad that I did not respect, right, was the transitioning with the book to making it some type of PR thing that was for my mental health. I just have to totally disagree with that because you brought that book on that sideline, right? And I have to ask a question. If you had 10 receptions for 200 yards, were you bringing out the book? No. So everything has to do with if you're getting the football and you're happy that you're being productive. This is a team sport. You should be happy that we're winning football games. Do you want to be back in Tennessee where y'all wasn't winning football games, or do you want to be here where you have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl, right? And then to take the narrative and to be on the
ESPN with Sal Palantonio.
Yeah, and talking about it's protecting my mental health and all the other things. I'm all fine with protecting your mental health. But your mental health, you know what you're doing? You're damaging other people. Yeah. Because now how does Jalen Hurts play the game of football, right? When I have to worry about feeding the wide receiver, feeding the football to my wide receiver, I have to worry about he's going to go open the book because he's trying to show me that he's mentally not in a good place right now.
He's checked out.
No, yeah, and the problem is this. Go open up the iPad and go look at some film if you need to mentally make yourself be better. Work on your releases. See if I could come up with a different release package. Or how about this? He threw you the football. You dropped the pass. You dropped the pass, and guess what? Y'all almost lost that football game, so you dropping the pass in the end zone, those 6 points would have mattered. To be honest with you.
It's toxic.
And this is more of a Jalen Hurts thing, right? And Jalen Hurts is he seems like a very calm, calculated, disciplined guy, right? That he shows you I can ball. But what we're trying to do is win football games. And that goes back to that Alabama way too, right? That's why I think Nick Saban loved Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why even though he felt that Tua was more talented, he kept trying to stick with Jalen Hurts because this is a leader of men, right?
Yeah, for sure.
When things not going away, Jalen Hurts looks the exact same way. He's not throwing temper tantrums, and he has two volatile personalities, A.J. Brown and Nick Sirianni, right? And not only just dealing with Philadelphia media, but he's always the same, cool, calm, collected, doing what I have to do, showing up to work. So I agree with you that they can be their own worst enemy. You want to know why? Because there's going to be an opportunity where they hit adversity. And when they hit adversity, you know the only thing that gets you through adversity with people? Trust.
And they don't have that. They don't have that. I don't believe they trust their coach. I don't. As much as they want to say whatever they say. And I think the reason that this has all kind of come crashing and burning is because Jason Kelce and his relationship with Jalen Hurts, they had each other's back.
Yeah.
And Jason had been in Philadelphia for 10-plus years
He
when Jalen
surpassed
got there.
everybody else, yeah.
He was the voice in
Even
the locker room.
Fletcher Cox.
100%.
Yep.
It was Jason's team. And he not only, when he has an opportunity to speak about Jalen Hurts, he is glowing about Jalen Hurts. That was his boy. That was his guy. He was his protector, quite frankly. And I think the wheels have come off because Jason was the vocal leader and Sirianni is a jackass and he is not the right leader for this team. And H.A. Brown is doing stupid shit and nobody is telling him, stop acting like a child. Stop disrespecting your quarterback.
Yeah.
Stop disrespecting your team.
Because it's not just a book thing.
This is disrespectful.
It was the sideline antics, right?
It's all the
season.
bullshit.
Yeah, like and it's one thing, I get it. If we suck, right?
Correct.
Then we suck. I'm not getting the football.
Sure.
Of course I'm always angry. Y'all are in the NFC Championship
You're the
game.
2 seed.
You're paid already. You're
Come
already
on.
established. Everybody watches. Everybody knows that this is a running team at this point, right? But can this get you to win a Super Bowl? You just be there and be ready when your number gets cold.
And here's the problem. The difference is the identity of the football team changed. They got Saquon Barkley. This became about Saquon. It became about running the football, and A.J. Brown's in his feelings about it.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yep.
That's what it is. He doesn't like it. Well, guess what? To win football games, you need good football players. And Saquon Barkley is an elite football player. Maybe you should work out with Saquon and start figuring out how to act like him.
Yeah.
Straight up. Because I don't understand. It's like, are you a homie or are you not? You're celebrating the moment or you're not? Because you can see it on his face. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can see it on Jalen's face when he comes near him. Yeah. And Jalen does an excellent job, but there is something going on there between those two. And I don't know what it is, but they're not going to win a Super Bowl if they don't fix it. Yeah. They won't.
I told you they can't hit adversity, right?
No.
And that'll be the thing. And adversity will come whether it's, the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship, right?
Or
That's
Mahomes.
That's the perfect situation for things to be volatile, right? You feel like, we should be dominating the Washington Commanders, and then you get into the third quarter and y'all losing by 3.
I'm going to put a bet in on the Commanders. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, let's get into it. I know this is a curveball right here, but what I want to do is I want to do some predictions.
Oh, I did not know this was coming.
Yeah, it's a curveball. I want to do predictions to end this show.
Okay.
And we have the AFC Championship game. We have the NFC Championship game. We have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders. Who you got?
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to take the Commanders.
You're taking the Commanders.
I am. I'm going to take the Commanders because there's something there, something special. And I can't quantify it, and it doesn't make sense. No. But you know what happens when you have this, unbelievable belief in yourself, and it's just things are just clicking? Mm-hmm. When you face a team like the Eagles that, one, I'm a little concerned about if Jalen Hurts is actually healthy.
Yeah.
Which is a big part of this.
Yep.
If he's not healthy, then I'll feel really confident about this. Really confident. 2, I don't think they have the horses to schematically figure out how to handle Jayden Daniels because I don't think anybody does right now. I think he's just playing so loose and free. Good luck, you better put up points. And because of that, I don't have a lot of faith in that offense being able to put up points because A.J. Brown needs to get over himself. So I'm going to pick the Commanders, and I cannot believe that I'm saying this. I literally cannot believe I'm saying this because of the Hail Mary and all the stuff that I endured this year. I cannot believe.
It's almost like you knew you was going to pick the Commanders. You got the burgundy on. I think you knew where you was going.
Washington, it's you and me, baby. It's you and me.
I'm going with Philly. So I've had a tactic and a plan, right? Mm-hmm. I just always pick the more talented roster.
Yep, and they by far are the more talented roster.
And this has not been working out for me, right?
Yeah.
But the true test of somebody and the conviction of what they do is when they're hitting adversity. And I'm hitting adversity right now, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that they win this football game. I think they actually have more than one way to win. I think that they look at what the Detroit Lions did, and they say, hey, we're not going to make that mistake of deciding just to throw the football all over the yard. They have Saquon Barkley, run the football, try to play good defense, try to contain. Then also, this is the other part that's the underrated thing. They've seen Jayden twice already, I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they played him, I want to say twice.
Yeah, because it's the division. They always play twice.
Once Jalen got hurt, he got hurt during the game. They were up big, and then Jalen got hurt. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles, but let's flip to the showdown. This one seems like it has legacy at stake.
Yeah, it does.
Has legacy at stake.
Sure does.
Josh Allen walking into Kansas City, into Arrowhead. Who you picking for that game?
who do I want to win and who I think is going to win are two very different things. I will say what I said earlier on a Draft Club episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not picking against the King until somebody topples him. Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, probably one of his worst playoff performances coming off of.
Yep.
That's bad news for the Bills. That smells of him having a great performance coming off of that one. Because he ain't going to have back-to-back stinkers, I can tell you that. It's not going to happen. And they don't have the pass rush to get after it like the Texans did. How are they going to stop them? This Bills team overcame and, quite frankly, out-coached and out-kicked where they were supposed to be this year. This should be the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. This should be the Baltimore Ravens going in, a more complete team, a team that could give this team a run for their money.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I just don't think this Buffalo team has the horses to get there. Now, Josh Allen's had one of the best, if not the best, season of his career. Sometimes a special player shows up in special moments and can do things. But I'm telling you right now, until it happens, I didn't pick against Tom, and I'm not picking against Pat. I'm picking the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl, and I hope to God that I'm wrong.
I told you, this is, like you said, if you believe that history repeats itself, Josh Allen is Peyton Manning. Patrick Mahomes is Tom Brady. He's just trying to get him one, and you ask yourself, as much as you want to pull for him, is this going to be the year? I don't think it's going to happen this year either. I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they win this football game. Like I said, they can win it more than one way. You know what this is? This is a classic Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt take over the game, and nobody expected it because we talked about Xavier Worthy and DeAndre Hopkins, right? Talked about Travis Kelce.
And Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
and
this just seems like something where they're going to end up running the football. Everybody talks about the Buffalo Bills not being able to stop the run and their run defense. I think the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid is a genius. Yeah. He finds creative ways to get the job done. And you know the one thing about being versatile and not having one sole guy that people can key on? You can win in so many different ways, right?
Yeah.
It makes it very difficult for the defensive coordinator to game plan. I don't know what these guys are going to do. I don't even know who's going to be on the football field, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going Kansas City. So
you can't top it. You can't pick against the King.
Yeah, you can't. You can. And you try it, right? You think different teams could get the job done, and then you say they haven't been playing well. Well, this is why they've been winning all the games in the regular season, so they can have a home game to make it to the Super Bowl.
Remember what I said about not getting cute?
Yep.
I don't want to get cute. No trick plays. Don't get cute. Don't outthink yourself. Just don't pick against I know that it doesn't make sense sometimes, and I know, but like when you're a champion, they are champions. That team, they know how to win.
They know how to win. Yep.
And I don't trust that this is a roster on the opposite side that's not better than the Kansas City Chiefs roster, and that's why you can't. I can't go against the King. You can't go against the King. So don't get cute. Don't pick against him. Don't bet against him because you're probably going to lose your money if you do.
Yep.
Probably going to lose your money.
You have Commanders, Kansas City.
Yeah.
I have Philly, Kansas City, repeat, right? Which should be fun, but I'm going to go ahead and tell this. Everybody tune in because you know what we're going to have next episode? We're going to have some Super Bowl predictions. Who's actually going to win it all? We're going to see if Paige Dimakos is going to pick the kid, Jayden Daniels, to win a Super Bowl. Who knows? But I'm Keith Sanchez. That's Paige Dimakos. This is the Draft Club. Players only.